everybody, it's Pixelated Pat, and I'm back with the final episode of our Pokemon Gaia Hardcore Nuzlocke. It's absolutely unreal to me that we made it to this point, but the time has finally come. Now let's take one last look at our team. You'll probably notice that everybody gained a level, and that's because I had 6 rare candies in my bag that I'd been saving just for this. I figured it would help give us an edge if we were on an even playing field with the champion, which I figured we would need considering the final boss is a menacing Mega Salamence, hence the reason why the team is full of Dragon Destroyers. That being said, I'm starting to feel a lot like Ash did in the Chaos League because up to this point, this has got to be one of, if not the strongest teams I've ever made. Not just in my Nuzlocks, but in the entire time I've been playing Pokemon, which is a very long time. No championship battles ever a walk in the park, and while I knew that this one wasn't going to be any different due to how Herschel had been built up to this point, it was hard not to feel confident going in with a lineup like this. Now, the time has come to finally enter the Chamber of the Championship and write our names in the history books of the Orbitus region. For the final time, cue that OST. So starting off the battle, he leads with Wailord, which is why we lead with Venusaur. Right off the bat, we deal a huge chunk of damage, and after his Ice Beam does practically nothing, all it takes is another Petal Storm with the first Domino to fall and bring out his next Pokemon, Mamoswine. We do have to take an Avalanche real quick when we switch over to Magna, but it does practically nothing. Anyways, I contemplated a switch for a moment due to how high Mamoswine's defenses are, but I decided to go with the close combat, and we wind up knocking out in one attack, so it turned out to be the right choice after all. Up next, he sends out his Yanmega, but this is unfortunately where we lose Magna because we did not hit a high roll in damage calculation, so F's in the chat for our starter. However, we don't have time to grease, so we switch over to Staraptor, and we have to put it down to 1 hit range with another Aerial Ace after he uses the full restore. And next up, after that, we have to take a huge chunk of damage from the Ancient Power, but we're able to knock it out with another Aerial Ace, which will bring out his 4th Pokemon, Tangrowth. From there, I switch out Staraptor because I was scared of a possible Ancient Power, which opens up the door to give the floor to Soar. Now, as you can imagine, I had every intention of knocking out this Tangrowth with Infernape, but sadly that cannot be the case. While I easily could have KO'd it too with Garchomp's Fire Fang, I didn't want to take the risk of drawing a Salamence out too early because that could have been a lot more trouble than it was worth. Anyways, this is the point where I started to realize that Giga Drain might be Tangrowth's only move. Anyways, we have a little Star War where I'm able to whittle it down with chip damage using Earthquake, but this is the point where we sadly lose Venusaur as well after Tangrowth runs out of power points and hits us with a struggle, so F's in the chat for Venusaur. However, thanks to his hard work and sacrifice, all it takes is one more Aerial Ace to bring down Tangrowth, which will bring out his 5th Pokemon, Alakazam. After that, we bring in Garchomp, and while she does have to take a heavy hit from Psychic upon entering the battle, she outspeeds an Oko's next turn, and just like that, there's only one Pokemon standing between us and victory. And now I can perform my final strategy. Naturally, he Mega Evolves right away, so we start out by sending Staraptor back out with the intention of sacrificing it for a safe switch. Not only does he manage to survive the first attack, but he also manages to land a critical hit with Quick Attack before going down to an Outrage, which will lead us to our final switch of the run, none other than Altaria. The first thing I do is Mega Evolve right away so we can nullify any of his Dragon-type attacks, but we also use Perish Song, which will essentially guarantee us a victory. However, on the very next turn, I decide to say screw my Perish Song strategy, and I hit it with a Moonblast. And just like that, the final boss of Pokemon Gaia has fallen like the rest. And just like that, not only have we officially become champions of the Orbitus region, but we've chalked up a W in our first Nuzlocke together here on YouTube, and I gotta say, what a run. While I was kinda disappointed that the Elite Four got swept as easily as they did, the championship battle more than enough made up for it. After all the hours of playing as safely and carefully as I could, to be able to finish the run by going all out like this and coming out with a W more than enough makes up for it. Don't forget to show some love to Altaria for that awesome finish, and to yourselves for being awesome enough to support me during my first Nuzlocke here on YouTube. Now, let's celebrate our champions. Man, talk about a crazy runtime. Anyway, shout out to everybody who made it to the end of the video. At the moment, I'm working on a special video as a way to say thank you to everybody who joined us on this run. You guys are seriously the best. I couldn't do any of this if it weren't for all of you that have been tuning into the channel and supporting my videos. Thank you for this awesome run, and thank you for this awesome championship. That being said, that's all I got for you today, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Pixelated Pat, signing off.